This video is brought to you by the Disc Golf Nerd Patreon support team. Go to patreon.com/discgolfnerd. My people, hello, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to my review of the Westside Discs BT Soft Crown. Really nice throwing putter, great inside the circle as well, great all-arounder, would be an excellent beginner's disc to start with as well in my opinion. And first time I've reviewed any Westside plastic for a little while. This one came into my collection a few years ago, and I've been kind of testing it on and off, and here I am coming to you guys with a full review now that we've gotten a bunch of testing and flight footage on this thing. Really great disc for sure. Thank you so much to my Disc Golf Nerd Patreon support team for supporting the channel. Check that out if you guys want to have your name listed in all the credits of all the videos and be a financial contributor to the channel, help us produce the content. You can check that out, and the link will be in the description below. Also, huge shout out to my retail sponsor, Infinite Discs. Go to infinitediscs.com and you can use my code DiscGolfNerd to get yourself 5% off your order, and a portion of those proceeds will come right back to the channel to help support us, and once again help us continue to create this content. So thanks to everybody who supports me. Shout out to Dynamic Discs as well. They usually hook me up with plastic from Westside, Latitude, and of course their own Dynamic Discs brand, but I'm sure they would have sent me one for review had I asked. BT Soft plastic, I love it. It's got such a nice grippy feel. I love the flexibility of it. I love the little bit less ground play with this plastic as well for an approach disc. I think is really nice to have something that grabs the ground a little bit more, is less likely to slip and slide and stand up and roll and all that kind of stuff, and that extra flexibility helps absorb impact from tree kicks. All kinds of great benefits to the soft plastic, but the only real issue is it's a little bit floppier and a little bit wackier feel in the hand, especially in really hot, humid climates. But for me out here in the Pacific Northwest, I can throw this plastic all year round. It's great in the winter, but it's still just as functional in the summer for me. Side discs, they're BT Soft again. There's the Crown logo, and it says 3, 4, 0, and 1. I would say those flight numbers are pretty much spot on, and if I'm not mistaken, those are the same flight numbers as the new EMAC Judge previously reviewed. I'll put the EMAC Judge full review at the end of this video, so stay tuned. You can just click on that and watch it. But we tested these on the same day, and they've behaved very, very similarly out there on the course. Let's take a closer look at the design of the Crown. So it's a beaded putter. Nice, kind of normal size beads, not like a big bead, nor is it very small or slim. And you have a nice, mostly rounded edge with just a little bit of an angle right there. Hopefully you're getting a decent look at that. But all in all, very comfortable feel in the hand. This one's 173, so just about max weight. Slightly concave top as well, which I like in the hand for sure. It's almost... yeah, it does look like it's a little bit puddle top, a little bit concave, which is very nice. And all in all, the feel is fantastic. Super grippy. I love the way that bead lines into my first knuckle there for throwing. It feels good in the hand for putting as well, even though I'm not a big beaded putter fan for putting. That's just a personal preference thing. But all in all, no issues or complaints with the feel of this disc whatsoever. It releases very nice and clean, and I had no trouble getting used to the feel of it whatsoever. And the BT Soft plastic, again, tremendous stuff for that ultra grip, nice soft feel, allows it to stay where it lands much more often and will absorb the energy off of a tree kick and not kick quite as far as some firmer plastics will at times. Let's put it up next to a couple of the options. As we said, the EMAC Judge, very, very similar discs, and tested back to back on the same day. They were doing very similar things, but the EMAC Judge has that super tiny micro bead there, where the Crown has a nice full-sized putter bead. So that's really the only difference, you know. It's a feel difference, but they fly very similarly for sure. They both have good glide and good distance for a putter. The EMAC Judge in particular maybe went a little bit farther. And put this one back in its box since it's a prototype that I'm holding on to here in my collection. And here is a JK Aviar, which is very similar in terms of design, I would say. Beaded putter, but you can see it's got a little bit, maybe a little bit of a deeper feel. It's got a little bit more dome to it as well. It's not as flat, so it has a deeper feel in the hand for sure than the Crown. The Crown's a little flatter, a little shallower, but similar in terms of the overall design. I haven't really thrown this JK. Let me know if you want to see a review on a JK Pro AVR Sakibon stamp that I've gotten a few years ago. And then we also have the Link. Now the Link is a disc that I've been bagging pretty much since it hit the market, and also very, very similar in flight. 2301 on the flight numbers for this one, so maybe a touch slower, maybe not quite as much glide. I would say that's probably spot on. Neutral, extremely neutral disc. The Link, it just holds lines so well, and it's got that incredibly rounded, comfortable outside edge, but it does have the bead there as well. These are quite interchangeable as well. I'm sure I could throw the Crown into the slot the Link has been occupying in my bag for the last few years and be just fine with that. I really don't think that would be any problem. So all in all, I love the feel of the Crown. No issues there whatsoever. It stands up well to other similar beaded putters on the market for sure. And I think if that's what you're looking for, this could definitely be a great option for you to look into. So let's take a look at some flight footage for this thing. It's very point and shoot inside the circle, and it putts really well. I didn't have too much trouble connecting with it. Once again, I've just never really been a beaded putter guy. I've always gravitated towards beadless putters, and I still do now. I'm using the Keystone, which is a more understable putter, and all in all, I really like it. But I was able to connect with the Crown relatively easily inside the circle during my testing of it, but I didn't do a ton of putting, just really 1 or 2 sessions of putting, mostly using this thing as a thrower, and for that, it really excelled. It holds lines extremely well. You can throw it left to right, super nice on an anhyzer without it turning and burning. You can float it up on a kind of a sweep hyzer with a putter up high, and it flies really nice. Very point and shoot, straight flyer as well. Thrown flat, it'll just fly flat and fly straight pretty much all the way. So you can get it to do a lot of different things, and if you're looking for one throwing putter, a nice neutral one like this or like a Link would be such a great option, because you know you can throw it on so many different angles. Now if you want the similar kind of flight as what you're seeing in this, but you're looking for something that has a smaller bead, then I would definitely recommend checking out the EMAC Judge. EMAC Judge has that micro bead, a little bit more shallow feel in the hand, maybe a little quicker, but very similar in terms of stability. Once again, we tested them on the same day, throwing them back to back on several occasions, and really they behave to the very similarly with the same release angle for sure. So it's very nice to have that option though. So if you want the beaded version, you can look into something like a Crown, or obviously the original Judge, which is going to be a little bit more stable, definitely not go as far, doesn't have as much glide as well. But if you want that traditional beaded putter, you have that. You have the Warden on the beadless side of things, and you have the EMAC Judge sits right in the middle, and then you also have the Crown, which is basically like the EMAC Judge with that bead, but very similar flights. So that's been my experience with it. I really liked it. It just does everything I wanted it to do. I can throw it on so many different angles, very versatile in that respect, and really didn't take very long to get a feel for it at all. You're going to see almost all the throws we had with this thing are going to make it into the video, because we really had no issue with it. You know, occasionally we test a disc and I end up deleting a lot of clips because we didn't throw it super well, or it took us a while to get a feel for it. And of course I'll inform you guys in the review if that's the case, especially if it's really noticeable. But with this thing, you're going to see basically all the throws we had with it, because it was just flying great. Really straight flyer. James connected really well with this thing as well. He has always been an Yeti AVR thrower. The whole time I've known him, he had a broken-in Yeti AVR that he threw a ton. He lost it, I think, last year. And this disc is definitely somewhere in that vibe for him, where he can just throw it on a little hyzer, let it flip up, and fly laser straight. And you can get all the different kind of nuances and varying angles out of there as well. This would also be just a great beginner option, all-arounder, one disc option for a beginner to start with. I think this could be a really awesome option for that, because it's a great putter. It's great inside the circle and outside the circle, great on approaches and off the tee. It stretches a little extra distance, good glide, and very neutral, allowing you to throw those different angles. Now, with a little bit of a tangent, it's always been kind of the thinking that you want to give new players a really understable disc, and over the last few years I've definitely developed my thinking on that and kind of changed a little bit, and I think neutral is more what you want. Slightly understable, totally fine, but I think a really, really flippy, super understable disc to give to a beginner, sure, they might be able to throw it straight when they really don't know what they're doing, but they might also then kind of come to rely on hyzer releases or really need that natural flip to get it to fly straight. If you start with something neutral like this that can hold the different angles, but thrown flat, you're going to see it fly flat and fly straight. That's a really great option, because then you'll know that you're doing pretty good things with your form based on the way the thing flies. If it's flying on the angle you want it to, you know you're progressing, you're coming along, you're learning those angles. So I think this could be a really tremendous first disc for just about anybody. Same thing with the EMAC Judge, the Link, the JK AVR, all great options for that. That's my review on the Westside Discs Crown. Awesome to have another Westside disc here represented into the playlist. Thank you once again to Infinite Discs for their continued support. Use my code at checkout, Disc Golf Nerd, get yourself a discount, and you'll also be helping to support the channel. Thank you once again to all of my viewers, fans, subscribers, people following me on Instagram. I appreciate all of your support very much. I will go ahead and put the review of the Link on this end screen here for you to check out, and on the other side I will go ahead and give you the EMAC Judge as well, so you can check that out if you want more information on either of those discs. Thank you so much for watching, and I will check you later. Cheers.